While Rome built its colosseums and China raised its walls, another empire thrived quietly on the roof of Africa. A kingdom that controlled the Red Sea, printed its own gold coins, and sent merchants as far as India. And yet, most people have never even heard its name. This is the story of Axum, the African empire that stood shoulder to shoulder with Rome and Persia, then vanished almost without a trace. How could a civilization that powerful simply disappear? Let's go back almost 2,000 years, to the highlands of what is now Ethiopia and Eritrea. Axum's heartland sat 2,000 meters above sea level, surrounded by green mountains and deep valleys. It was the perfect meeting point, fertile land for farming, and only a few days' journey from the Red Sea. Through its port at Adulis, goods flowed from every direction: Roman glass, Arabian incense, African ivory, Indian silk. Think of Axum as the Singapore of the ancient world, small on the map, huge in influence. While Rome connected Europe by roads, Axum connected continents by sea. Gold and elephants from Africa, spices from India, wine from the Mediterranean, all met in Axum's markets. By the 3rd century, Axum was rich enough to build an army and bold enough to use it. Its kings sent troops across the Red Sea, conquering parts of Yemen. At home, they expanded south and west, securing the trade routes that brought endless caravans of goods. Ancient writers began to list Axum alongside Rome, Persia, and China, the 4 great powers of their world. And Axum left proof of its greatness: coins. Beautiful, detailed coins of gold, silver, and bronze, stamped with the faces of its rulers. They weren't just currency, they were marketing. Coins bearing Axum's symbols have been found as far away as India. It's as if a tiny African kingdom had put its logo on the entire trade network of the ancient world. At its height, Axum was a mix of ambition, engineering, and faith. While Rome was busy fighting barbarians and China was perfecting silk, Axum's craftsmen were carving stone. Massive monolithic obelisks, some taller than a 10-story building, cut from single blocks of granite. No cranes, no steel tools, just skill, muscle, and belief. They still stand today, defying time and gravity alike. Then came a moment that would change the region forever. Around 330 AD, King Azana converted to Christianity. That made Axum one of the very first states in history to officially adopt the faith, decades before Rome did. In his stone inscriptions, Azana called himself King of Kings and thanked the Christian God for his victories. From that point on, crosses appeared on Axumite coins. Imagine that. When most of Europe was still worshiping old gods, African coins were already carrying the cross. But history never stays still. By the 7th century, new powers rose across the Middle East. Islam spread rapidly, and with it, new trade empires. Arab fleets took over the Red Sea, and Axum's lifeline to the outside world began to close. At the same time, centuries of farming had stripped the soil bare. Forests were gone, rains became unpredictable, and harvests shrank. An empire that once fed nations could no longer feed itself. Cut off from trade, weakened at home, Axum slowly faded. By the 10th century, its cities were empty. The great stele still stood, but only the wind moved between them. Unlike Rome, which reinvented itself as Byzantium, or China, which rebuilt dynasty after dynasty, Axum disappeared quietly, leaving its stones to tell the story. And yet, it never truly died. Axum's spirit lived on in Ethiopia, in its Orthodox church, its language, and its sense of pride. When Ethiopians today celebrate their ancient heritage, they look back to Axum as the foundation. Those granite towers that once marked royal tombs now stand as reminders that history isn't only written in Europe or Asia. On a quiet plateau in East Africa, an empire rose, ruled, prayed, and fell, long before most of the world even knew it existed. The Kingdom of Axum, Africa's forgotten superpower.